Welcome everybody. You know who I am by now. Name will be across the bottom. Today, quick easy one. Now, a few weeks ago we tested out the Teknos Futura Aqua 90, which is Teknos's version of a water-based gloss. 90, we're going to call it a 90% sheen gloss level. Yeah, I won't say I'm blown away with it because it was, we class it as an alkyd paint, and I didn't like how it started to yellow off quite quickly. Now, there will be a video coming up in the future where I'm going to go back to it to see how it's been over a period of time and see if it's as bad as what we, yeah, let's talk about that one. But today we're talking about the Futura 20, which is more of an eggshell finish. Now, if you're going about old school and dinosaurs and people like that, if you go for a flat finish, then there'll be an eggshell finish, which is a slight sheen, and then you go to a satin finish, which has got a little bit more sheen, and then you go to your glosses. Now, when you start looking at Futura 20, 20% sheen level is more towards the flatter stroke and eggshell finish. I'm not on about the colour of an eggshell because what egg are you looking at? I'm on about actually the finish of an eggshell. So more of a flatter finish, an eggshell. If I was looking at a satin wood satin, that's got a little bit more sheen level. Best way I can describe that one is if you think of, if you've used Tikkurila, Helmi, Everall Aqua 40. So lovely sheen level, but it's shinier. Farrow & Ball, modern eggshell. It's got a little bit more sheen level compared to the Farrow & Ball estate eggshell, which is a lot flatter. People complain about that being a bit too dry. So the lower the number, the more drier it's going to be. We're looking at a 20 today. Right, let's move on from it. I'm sniffing the paint because I've just tipped some out. Yeah, it's got a distinctive smell to it. Right. Doris the door, we have already undercoated that because I know everybody doesn't like me boring him to death with coating the door up. That has now been coated up with the proper, correct Futura primer. That's there, that's been done. It's nice and dry now, and I'm coming back to it, and I want to do 2 coats of the Futura 20. Now, I'll do a coat today, and I'll do a coat tomorrow, and we'll look at what the finish is like and see what I think of it. I will do a little bit of painting and then I'll go off camera, get it all done and come back. Let's try and keep this under, yeah, you know what I'm on about. Right, today's brush of choice, because I use I've got it here, the Heritage Nor. I do like this brush. It's a lovely brush to bang paint on. The tips are nice and soft and it lays it off. So if you've got panel doors like this and you want to bang paint out, Nor Heritage. It's a really nice brush, and I've told you before, no sponsorship, no money's changed hands, no nothing. I got these from Scott at Paint Monster, so I'll just give him a little plug because I know that he sells these, and this is where we got these from. Lovely 2-inch. Right, I'm going to crack on. I've got the paint out. I'm just going to start applying it over that undercoat. All I'm going to say about this undercoat is it goes on nicely. I'm in a quite warm environment. It's a nice day in the UK today. Sun's shining, makes a change. I did have to work quickly with it, and the undercoat white is a little bit creamy. I will say creamy coloured. I know it was creamy coloured because I was going over a door that had previously painted, not on a video, but previously painted to blank it out with Bedek MSP. And that was in white, which is a nice white, being I'll call that a true I can't even say that, a true acrylic. Now, the undercoat is a white for the Futura, but it's got a little bit of a tingy creaminess to it, which is fine if you want a bit of coverage, bit of a mixed colours, not too bad. Right, let's crack on with this. I've never used this before. Let's crack on with it. It's got a nice smell to it. The paint smells acrylic-y, but as I found with the Aqua 90, the Futura Aqua 90, that was an alkyd paint which has a touch of oil to it. Now, I'm not painting these sides because that was painted previously when I did the other door. the other door side, I'm just going to do this face for you. And let's just see how we go. See what my first initial thoughts are, and then we'll fast forward and get it all coated up. So far so good on the application. I think I'm going to be working quick with it because we're in a warm environment. Knock off the fatty edges around the side. Don't forget, this is first coat. Not bad. Right. I'll do a little bit more. If you want to know how to paint a door correctly, mouldings, the panels, and then the rails, if you look on the link in the corner, there will be a very nice video for you to watch. Right, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to get this coated out, and I will see you tomorrow when I've got a second coat on. Wish me luck. It's going to dry quick. You know what I'm like for coming back on camera after I've done the door and I've washed the brush out. So apologise for that. Just quick recap. The primer undercoat is about 6 hours recoat time, like for getting your next coat on. That's fine because we did that earlier. This first top coat is an 8 hour. That's why I'm going to, well, this door is now done. And I'm going to wait till tomorrow to get the second top coat on. But interestingly, the primer washed out quite nicely on that heritage brush. But this top coat, you know, when I smelt it a bit earlier, which was a few minutes ago, it had a funny smell to it. Plasticky, I'll say plasticky, acrylic-y based, yeah, fine, water based. But washing it out wasn't particularly easy to get the paint out the brush. Once I'd washed it out, lukewarm water. Don't use hot water because one, you'll dry your paint too quickly in the brush. And if it's in the stock and the ferrule down at the bottom, you don't want to do that. Lukewarm water, dissolve it, and then just get a little bit of soap, fairy liquid, washing up liquid, scrub it out, clean your bristles. Or if you've got some solutions that you use. Now, once I've done that and rinsed it, the feel of those brushes when they were damp had a stickiness, a sticky feel to it. Now, the last time I felt anything like that, that I was a bit like that about, was when I was using the brush killer. I'm not saying this is as bad as the brush killer to wash your brushes out. Brush killer, yeah. But I do think there's probably an element of a hybridness to this Teknos. Now, if you're the Teknos rep, if you know this paint, just enlighten me. Is this more of a hybrid than an acrylic pure water-based paint? Because that could put people off. Or it might not do. But quick looking at that, that is drying, and I will see you tomorrow now, and we'll get it coated up. Then I'll give a review on what it's like. So see you later, alligator. Welcome back. It's the next day. Now, you faded out into me doing the second top coat of the Teknos Futura Aqua 20. So now it's been a few hours since I did that. It's dry. It's dry. It's not fully cured because fully curing is 2 to 3 days on this. It's touch dry in about an hour. And I will say, when you're applying that top coat, depending on your temperatures, and as I found yesterday when I did that first coat, it was warm. We'd got, I'm not saying we were tropical in the UK, but it was warm. The environment I was trying to paint in and the humidity, it made it difficult to put that paint on. You could feel it drying off on you as you were applying it, even with that lovely, washed it out, that lovely Knorr Heritage brush. So when I came this morning, I did it first thing. It was a lot cooler, and that second coat second coats always go nicely on themselves, but that second coat was a lot nicer to brush on. Now we want to look at it to see what the finish is like. And again, it's like smelly vision. You're going to have to trust what I'm telling you when I'm looking at it. I'm looking across it, and I can actually say that there's a slight sheen to it. Now this is the semi-matte. We'll call this a semi-matte finish for the Futura Aqua 20. It is a waterborne, well, I say waterborne, say water-based, waterborne urethane alkyd product. Now, as soon as you start mentioning that word alkyd, what are we talking about? We're talking about oil-based paints. So this is a waterborne product with the urethane, which the urethane is the stuff that makes it a hard-wearing surface. So it's resistant to a lot of bumps and scratches in the usual, what you'd expect from a quality paint. But there's an alkyd element to it. Now, it's not totally going to be an oil-based paint, because it's not, is it? It's waterborne. It's waterborne. But there's an alkyd element to it that allows it to be, we'll say, hybrid. Let's call it a hybrid. So there's an alkyd element, which is the oil content to that, which is helping it be, I don't want to say the quality paint that it is, because if I'm using a water-based product, I want to use a water-based product that brushes wash out. These brushes don't wash out that easy when it's the finish coat. The undercoat was fine. Now, if you look at the data spec sheet for this, it says that to wash your brush out, warm water, and it's called the Rensa, it's spelled R-E-N-S-A, brush cleaner. Now, that should aid the washing out of your brushes. Whether it's any different to any other brush cleaner that you can buy that helps and aid washing out of water-based, I'm not sure. But that is a Teknos Rensa brush cleaner, and you can get it from, look online, I mean, you can get it from Paint Monster, where I get these brushes from. So if you are wanting to buy your paints, Paint Monster, and there's other places available, because no sponsorship, no money's changed hands. But on the whole, I'm quite impressed with that finish. I quite like that finish with a bit more sheen to a flatter eggshell. I would actually say it's not far, there's not much difference to that. Then I'm just going to have a look around the corner. What have we got? Tikkurila Helmi 10. Now, I've done my house in Tikkurila Helmi 10. It's a flatter finish with a slight sheen, so you can see across it that there's a sheen on that, like you can with the Helmi 10. So you've not got the sheen element of a 30 or a 40 or anything, proper satin finishes, should I say. But that's by the by. We're looking at this as a 20. Quite liking that. Now, I probably just said 2 to 3 days for that to properly cure, to get hard. You can use it inside and outside, and it does meet all the specifications if you're using it on kids' toys and bits and pieces like that. It virtually goes over anything. If you do the correct prep and you use the correct undercoats and then your 2 coats of this, it goes over your metals, it goes over your plasticky things and your windows and your doors. I'm not about UPVC, because there's dedicated UPVC paints for that. But I would actually say, as a general paint for painting in your house, you'd be fine with this. Don't worry about it. Now, if you do want to spray it, this is a paint that does spray. You might just need to thin it slightly to taste, depending on how your sprayer works. But if you look at a 0.11 to a 0.13 spray tip, that's the ideal spray tips to be using. So that could be a 211, 311, 213, 313. You might even do a 2, 3. You might even go in between. So if you want to use a 212, a 312, 412, anything, the first number is your width. So double that up, and then the orifice size is 0.0 of a thousandth of a million, thousandths of it, where, you know, tiny holes, orifices. So 11 to 13 is your orifice size that you can use for spraying this. And it probably would spray nut quite nicely, actually. Anything else to report on it? I I think I'm about good to say, give it a try, give us some thoughts. Now, it'll be interesting to see what this is like in the next few days, few weeks, because this being the alkyd, will it go a little bit yellow? If I put a test patch of something that is a proper waterborne product, I don't know, I'm just looking down on my table that I've got here. If I look at something like, well, we could say the PU satin, but if I go back to a Bedeck product that is a nice acrylic, if I did a test corner, would that look a lot whiter? Because it's an acrylic base and not an alkyd based. But on that note, thanks for listening. Please watch some of the videos that come up at the end and give us some feedback. What do you think of this? Give some comments below. And I'm just going to finish and say thank you very much for those that are giving me super thanks. It is much appreciated.